Welcome back, everyone, to Worldly Things. This is the Worldly Top Lists, and I am Killed Shark. We're continuing off with the top 20 Battlebots that are still running today in the current 2018 third season of the Revive series on the Discovery Channel. Oh, and we're gonna continue off from finishing off with the 11th top Battlebot, in my opinion. And so we shall continue on with the final top 10 robots that I believe are the best that are currently running. So let's fast over, and starting at number 10 is Warhead. And not only is he a cool looking robot, he's practically retro. He appeared back in 2002 in the final season of the original Battlebots show, and it performed great, right? And only did one loss in its debut season. But since then, it's been kind of up and down in its win and lose streak. And this bot is really unique, besides its silver scorpion style body. It's because it's two different weapons. First, being this dome that's been originally angled more this way rather than like this way. Okay? And it's got these teeth here, which will do a lot of damage to its opponents. And introducing and starting back in last season of Battlebots in the Revive series, they introduced a secondary weapon system, which is basically a clamping T-Rex style head on its body. And another cool thing about its bot is when it lifts these claw-like wings up over its head, it would become a flamethrower. That's right, a flamethrower. And it's just so iconic, being this alien-like Battlebot here. And another cool thing is during one of its matches in its ABC Season 2, in a fight against a robot called Complete Control, it was stuck upside down at some point, but then somehow it ended up standing on its spinning drum head and miraculously did a one last hit on Complete Control. Well, before like the countdown for the match to be over stopped. And because of its unique design and how far back it dates, and how it's a very iconic robot from the UK, I've rated it number 10 on my top 10. Number 10 on my top 20 Battlebots. And so, we shall be moving on to number 9. And that is Sawblaze. This guy did a debut in the 2016 Season 2 of the ABC channel, and it's currently running in 2018 here. And what is real unique about this is its dustpan design to get under opposing robots, and it's got a flamethrower in its saw blade head. Excuse me. Not only would it cause a lot of tense heat, this saw blade is coated with diamonds. That's right, diamonds. And in its matches, it does cut pretty good. And I do mean very good. And so far, it won like all 3 of its matches in 2018. And in like 2016, it only won 1 match and then lost another. But this Battlebot is real kickin'. And coincidentally enough, the builder, designer, and driver of this robot was originally from like a university team that competed back in 2015 together. But due to some disagreements on robot designs, they ended up splitting up. And so there was 3 separate teams. And overhaul was like a clamping design, and based on what I've seen last year and this year, overhaul isn't a great robot. But Sawblaze is definitely way better. And coincidentally enough, in its first fight this year, it went up against overhaul, and so the student beat the master in that case. And it was real great to see. But because it has just like 1 3-battle winning streak so far and no losses this season, and since it only started back in 2016, I rated it number 9 on my top 20 list, but because how it's so designed on its dustpan to get under its opponents, plus having like an offensive weapon as well, that's why I rated it pretty high here. So we shall move on to number 8. A fan favorite by the name of Yeti. And this guy also debuted in 2016. And this guy became a semi-finalist list in there. And it only had like this weapon system plus a few wheels. And the builder and designer came from Alaska, and during the winter, he didn't really have anything much to do because much of his favorite sports was in the summer. So he decided to go into bodybuilding, and he didn't think he would make it past his first match. Hence, that's why he brought in very few spare parts with him in 2016. But again, he ended up being a semi-finalist in 2016. Mainly because in the battle with a very deadly robot by the name of Tombstone, his weapon stopped functioning, which is this heavy 50-pound drum spinner, which I believe goes to 150 miles per hour. And it's got like some different spots of like those teeth ridges there, and it's got this lifting claw on here to kind of get under opponents or to keep opponents a good distance, and it also helps with self-riding. But even if it does get flipped, it's still able to drive around and use its drum spinner, except it'll be downward force instead of upward force. And so he showed up again, and he's done actually good. He won 2 of his matches in a row. But his 3rd match, he didn't do so well against Ice Wave from before. Oh no, I haven't mentioned Ice Wave yet. Sorry, silly me. Anyhow, that was a bit of a spoiler alert. Like, in his matchup against Ice Wave, he actually got prepared for this year and brought spare parts and even an additional weapon system. So he replaced the heavy drum spinner and the lifting claw here with a wedge shield and a lighter 37-pound drum spinner in a similar design. And he was a great defender, but eventually his opponent kind of made him unable to move around, and he was counted out. So because of its great iconic design, good fan favorite, and how he did well in as a semi-finalist, and how he's currently doing in this year, he is number 8 in my opinion. So moving on to Number 7 is a spoiler alert I mentioned by accident. Ice Wave. And this guy dates back to 2004, and he appeared as more of a middleweight robot in the 2004 Charity Open, I believe it was. And it did pretty decent. And it didn't do so well in its first season, losing both matches, but it continued to improve better in season 1. And won like three matches. But lost to one robot by the name of Ghost Raptor. Her did so-and-so in season 2 of the revived series, but it's actually performing really good in the current season. So far I've seen him win twice in a row. One of them was like a newbie with like a wedge design, and didn't do so good against Ice Wave, but Yeti was a pretty close contender, but again, Ice Wave beat him. And the reason why he is a famous robot is because this 50-something inch long horizontal spinner originally span 300 miles per hour on this combustion engine, which was originally from a 15 horsepower fireman's saw. And that's kind of ironic since it's called Ice Wave. But in season 3 they decided to half the speed, which to me is a lot more reliable and controllable. And this is claimed to be the loudest Battlebot. Literally, because of its engine, like being super loud. Like one host in this season commented that even though he was wearing like ear protection, he could hear the sound of a helicopter fleet coming over him. And that was his description of Ice Wave's engine noise. So because of its destructive power, how long it's been performing, and its decent performance, sorry about that, its decent performance, I definitely claimed this to be number 7 on my top 20 list. So we shall move on to number 6, which I accidentally showed a bit that time, and that is Whiplash. Now, even though this says 2015 on here, that's just when it first competed in any kind of robot fight competition. It doesn't mean it appeared in the ABC channel's revived seasons 1 and 2. It actually first debuted in the TV show in like Discovery Channel's season, and that's currently on right now. And based on this guy's history, it has done fairly good in its past, but I've seen him in its 2 matches so far, and it beat the crap out of its opponents. Like, it won against 2 newbie robots, and they were no match for him. And believe it or not, the driver of this robot is a 19-year-old guy, right? And his father built and designed the weapon. And his son is like claimed to be one of the most skilled drivers in the competition since Hypershock, which is a robot that also competed in the ABC channel season 1, 2, and it's in the current season. But the reason why I ranked him this high on the top 20 list is because of its little experience with the robot fighting competition that's going on. It's exposed wheels a little bit, but it's got this spinning drum. I meant spinning wheel. I don't know how heavy it is or how fast it spins, but it's attached to a special arm that's got like a slight scoop wedge on there, and it is able to go almost 180 degrees around. So it can attack from in front of it and potentially attack downward onto its opponents from the back. And that is very versatile, and that's why he's on number 6 on here. So, moving on, we'll be going to the 2015 champion of the first season of the ABC channel, and that is Bite Force. Now, you may be wondering, wait a minute, this is like 2 completely different Battlebots, right? Wrong. They actually changed the design of it from a clamping robot design, which to me suits his name, Bite Force, because it like kind of bites down or grabs the opponents and tilts them like 90 degrees in the air. And this is like its 2016 and current design, and it had a few issues, like it stopped working at some point, but then it's actually won 3 matches in a row and no loss so far this year. And this guy actually stood up against Tombstone on its debut season and became the champion, whereas Tombstone was a semi-finalist in 2015. But I guess the reason why they went for a vertical bar spinner is because it only uses main configuration in 2 of its 2 out of 5 battles. And the other 3, they had to use these 2 small bars for like the upward clamping and then doing like a ramp thing, because they can only do like a 250-pound limit on there. And so the builder and driver decided to go for a spinning bar that requires not much weight change in configuration between battles. So the one thing I definitely don't like is they kept the name Bite Force. Like, I think they should have gone with a different name to suit its vertical spinning bar instead of Bite Force. Why not call it like G-Force? So I rate him number 5 because of its great performance in its season 1 as champion, and of how its design definitely is iconic looking, and how reliable its current weapon system is. So, moving on to number 4, Bronco. And this guy debuted back in 2015 in the first ABC channel season, and excuse me, is currently in season 3. Now this is the version from like season 1 through 2, and it has like 6 exposed wheels, but has like a couple wedges, one at the back and one at the front with like this flipper. And believe it or not, this is like the strongest hydraulic, pneumatic, or whatever you call it, flipper in the whole game. Like, it's able to send any kind of robot 10 to 15 feet up in the air in the battle box. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, even has recoil in the bot itself. Like, it kicks itself in the air, kicked its front in the air for maybe about 6 inches, I'm guessing. And this guy actually became a semi-finalist in season 1, did kind of good in season 2, and it's actually still kicking good right now in 2018. And right down here is 2018. And you notice they got rid of 1 pair of wheels, which I think is kind of a good idea, because I don't think they need 6 wheels. And they did a different paint job more sponsors on there, and the one thing that's definitely recognizable is they added these rib-like barriers on here to keep like certain robots away from his wheels, which is definitely a real efficient system. And they can actually take these off, so that's actually real good. And the reason why I rated this guy higher than Fire Force is because of its actual power. Like this guy can send Battlebots 10 to 15 feet in the air, and this season they actually increased its flipping power by 30%. Like, I've seen this guy toss the robot Lockjaw from the first part of this top 20 list I did 15 feet in the air on the TV and get stuck in one part of the wall. And they can actually do an extension on this flipper part in case there are like any horizontal spinners that their flipper can't reach under, and they don't want to really damage their robot too much. Like, this guy got its butt kicked in season 2 by the number 3 robot on this list, and he is none other than Minotaur. And this guy comes straight from Brazil. Well, he is currently in the 2018 season, but he started back in ABC Channel Season 2. And this guy is literally one of the deadliest drum spinning robots. And this guy actually in 2018, in the main event match, it went up against Tombstone. And Tombstone won, but just barely, just because the weapon on this thing stopped working. But this robot is practically a robot killer. Like, in its debut season, it actually did well and became a semi-finalist, but the reason why he never actually became a runner-up against Tombstone in 2016 was because Bombshell, from my last season, had the advantage of having like a sloped wedge in front of him, so the drum wasn't that effective against Bombshell. But Minotaur is actually a really deadly robot. I don't know how fast they do this drum. I know it's kind of heavy, but this is deadly. Like, there's more than just one tooth here. There's like a bigger tooth on the side. And just look at those lights. That adds coolness in there. And there's like a Minotaur on there. And the drivers on there is unbelievable. And if you get this flipped over, it'll still drive around. And it can ride itself up with no self-riding thing. But they actually use like the gyroscopic force or something from like inside the machine or the drum itself to actually right itself up, which is actually really cool. Look, if you actually watch it online, it looks like something from the sci-fi films, which is really awesome. So because of this robot's decent performance in Season 2 and how it's still kicking in Season 3, and how powerful this little robot is, he is number 3 on my list. So, we're going down to number 2. Son of Whyachi. Last video, I told you to be on the lookout for Team Whyachi's other robot. That came from Warrior Dragon, aka Warrior Clan. And look, Son of Whyachi. Team Whyachi. Like, this robot dates back to 2001. This guy debuted in Season 3, but instead of like a flat-wheeled robot, it was more of like a creep-crawl style tank robot. And it actually won and became champion in its debut season, which is unbelievable. Well, like, it did decent over the years, and although it didn't participate in Season 1 of the ABC Channel news, ABC Channel season, is because they thought of putting this robot into retirement, but the original leader guy decided to split between his team, who controls Warrior Clan, aka Warrior Dragon, so he can take Son of Whyachi out. And this guy's claimed to be one of the deadliest full body spinners. And this guy does a lot of damage. And I do mean a lot of damage. Like, this guy is just unbelievable. This has got to be my favorite Battlebot from the original TV series that is currently playing and fighting in the revived series. So, because of its high win over loss over the years and its destructive power and iconic looks, this guy is number 2 on my list. And that is minor compared to number 1. And number 1 is Tombstone. I mentioned this guy a few times before, and he is kicking. He originally appeared back in the Charity Open as a 2004 super heavyweight. And he performed pretty decent, I think. And however, it was turned into a heavyweight to participate in the ABC channel. And this guy was again runner-up in the ABC Season 1 against Bite Force, but then became champion by winning against Bombshell in Season 2. And this guy is awarded for the most destructive Battlebot ever. And it's because of that horizontal spinning bar. It's just so devastating. I mean, very devastating. Like, what he lacks in defense and maneuverability, he has in power and destruction. And I've seen him in like its 2 matches so far, and then won both of them. I mean, this guy you don't want to mess with. And he only lost 3 times in its career. And that's incredible. So, this is definitely my number 1 here. So, that's my opinion on who I think are the top 20 Battlebots that are still currently fighting here. So, this has been my worldly top lists on worldly things. I'm Killer Shark. Hope you all have a good night.